No matter who you are, you will have haters. John 15 verse 18 says, if the world hates you, know that it hated Jesus first. So if you have haters, know that God is greater than your haters. Lately you've been feeling the weight of your haters coming at you with their envy and their hate, scheming against you, throwing mud on your name. But God's gonna work it out despite their lies and game. God is greater, so much greater than your haters. God is greater, don't give up, it'll pay off later. God is greater, through the pain you're a giant slayer.
Stop begging friends and family to support your business or ministry, because the truth is they don't want to. And the sooner that you settle into that mind frame, it will free you in countless ways. Welcome. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share if you find value here. Before we get into today's topic, I want to tell you about the inspirational mug that I am drinking from this morning. So I'm drinking out of the Entrepreneur's Affirmation mug, which has affirmations to stay focused on the bigger picture for entrepreneurs. So if you're an entrepreneur, if you know you have an entrepreneurial calling on your life, go out and get the mug. It will definitely keep you inspired. In the comment section, if you have any of our inspirational mugs, hoodies, t-shirts, or if you have any of my books, which one do you have and how has it blessed your life? So let's jump right in. We're talking about the importance of not begging friends and family to support your business or ministry, because the fact of the matter is they don't want to. So before we even get into why we need to adopt this mindset to really move forward in the things of God, right? It's important to understand that people may not support your business for a variety of reasons. And I'm going to give you 3 possible reasons. You know your family and friends, I do not. And then we're going to talk about why you don't want to waste time begging friends and family to support your business. So let me be clear. I am not saying that you should not ask friends and family to support your business. But once you ask once, I'll even give you twice, right? Once you ask and you see that they are not supporting your business, they won't even give out a flyer. They will never like your content if you're a content creator. They will never share your information if you have you make jewelry, you have a YouTube channel, you wrote a book, whatever the situation may be, and they never share that information, and it's not something that goes against their values and their beliefs, right? Because if someone asked me to share something that was porn, of course I'm not going to share that, even if you relate it to me. So if it's not something that goes against their beliefs and their values, right, then that's one thing. And so nothing wrong with asking. You can ask, but once you ask once or twice, you don't want to keep investing your time and your energy fishing in a pond where there's no fish, fishing in a place where there's no fish. So I'm going to give you a scripture in a moment, but let's look at some of the reasons why this might be happening. So number 1, they don't want to see you win. So you can have haters in your own family. You can have people who cannot see you past the place they met you. And so this means that because you're their sibling, you're their cousin, you're their nephew, their niece, they cannot see you past that place, even though you are elevating. They cannot respect the calling on your life. They cannot respect the anointing on your life. This could be a friend who you went to high school and or college with, and the very first thing they want to say whenever they're around you is, oh, I remember when, and they're always going to remind you of the used to be, not where you are now. And it is constant and chronic. And not only that, they will never support anything that you do, even if you've supported them. So once you notice this pattern in an individual, I don't care if you've known each other since the seesaws in the playground, it is important to adopt the mindset that they don't want to support you regardless of what the reason is. So reason number 1 where they might not be supporting you, again, They cannot honor your level up. They're not receptive to it. Some people can only be okay if you stay where they met you. Some people are only okay if you're succeeding a little bit, but just don't succeed more than them. Some people can only accept you in one lane, and when they see your elevation, it begins to trigger envy in them. So that could be one reason, that they are secretly low-key hating, and they know that if you get the right opportunity, if you get the right door open, that your business is going to thrive, that the ministry that God put inside of your heart is going to flourish. And you will have people who won't even support that, and they can be other believers and won't support that. And again, we're not talking about something that goes against a person's fundamental beliefs and values, because there's certain things that I'm not going to support because of my beliefs and my values, right? So that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about it doesn't go against their beliefs and values, but they just don't want to see you rise. So that's one possible reason. A second possible reason is that there is long-standing resentment that you don't know about. And this is one of the hardest, if not the hardest, because it's something that you can't tangibly put your foot on. But sometimes people carry resentments for years that you don't know about. And one of the things in my training as a social worker, and one of the places where I did my internship was in a mental health clinic. And this is many moons ago, but human dynamics do not change regardless of how many years pass. And there are people who will carry something for decades. I met one woman who was almost 80, right? Was she 78, 79, real close to 80. And she had carried resentment for her sister for over 50 years. 50 years of hatred for her sister. And her sister had no idea why there was always tension. She knew there was tension, but she couldn't put her finger on it. And so sometimes a person can be harboring resentment that you don't even know about. Maybe you said something that rubbed them the wrong way 10 years ago. Maybe you said something insensitive 5 years ago. They never told you about it. You're not a mind reader. You don't know, and they're carrying that resentment. Or maybe you were a different person back then. This is a big one that you have to acknowledge if this is true. And if you were a different person back then, meaning maybe you weren't such a nice person, but God changed your life around, and now you are on fire for the Lord. You love the Lord. You have a completely different heart. You are a new creature in Christ. You will have people who will not accept the fact that you're a new creature in Christ. And I'm even talking about other Christians. So they believe God's grace for themselves, but they don't want to believe God's grace for you. So this shows you that they have a heart problem, right? That's an issue of the heart. Their heart ain't right. Because if God can totally change them and turn their life around, what makes them think that God can't totally change your life around? And especially if it is evident that you're coming in all sincerity and you are truly a transformed person. There are some people who don't want to give you that grace because they're very invested in holding on to the resentment they have for you, because it gives them permission to speak negatively about you. It gives them permission in their own mind to not be part of your support system. It gives them permission to want to see you fail. It gives them permission to keep a narrative going that is not a true reflection of the person you've evolved into today. And so when you have repented, you have said all sincerity, you've apologized wholeheartedly, you tried to make amends. The thing is, you can't force anybody, right, to accept your apology. You can't force anyone to forgive you. You can only come with a repentant heart and ask for a person's forgiveness and, do your best to make amends. But beyond that, it is up to that person. It is up to them being receptive to God changing their heart. And some people, regardless of what they profess to believe, don't want to give you the grace to change. They don't want to allow that because they're very invested in whatever the thing is that they're holding against you. So that's a possibility that a lot of people don't consider, particularly in families, because with family dynamics, there are generational patterns that go on not only for decades, but that go on for generations, transferring from one generation to another generation. And it will be something that your father did, that your father's brother holds against him. You didn't do nothing, but you your father's son. And there's this measure of hate against you because of what your father did. And so there are so many dynamics in families that you might not even be aware about. And a lot of people don't know all the nuances because a lot of families keep generational secrets. So it could be something you're not even aware about. So that's reason number 2. So reason number 1, they're hating. They don't want to see you thrive. They don't want to see you rise. They don't want to see you elevate. Reason number 2, there's some sort of resentment or animosity that either you have tried to make amends for. They might have said they forgave you with their words, but their heart hasn't forgiven you. Or you're not even aware of what they're holding against you, but you sense the tension. So that's reason 2, especially with family relationships, because you've had years and long-standing friendships. Could have been something that you said in the 2nd grade, and you all are now in your 50s, and you don't even remember what you said in the 2nd grade, and they're holding that against you. So do understand that. I know someone who has held something against me, I kid you not, that I said more than 30 years ago. I have apologized to this person. They said that they accepted my apology, but it came back to me that they're still telling the story of something that I said 30 years ago. And I apologize with all sincerity. I said, when I said that, I was so stupid. That was not a nice thing to say. I truly apologize. I am so sorry. Could you ever forgive me? I was just stupid. I was stupid. I was clueless. I was insensitive. And that was a really dumb thing to say. And I am truly sorry from the bottom of my heart. And it will never happen again. So I apologize for the thing that I said. I can't take it back. I can't make the words go back in my mouth. They said they accepted my apology, but I heard from not one person, not 2 people, but 3 people over the span of years, as recently as maybe 6 months ago, that they're still carrying the story. But when they see me, they smile like everything is fine. So do understand that there will be, and this person claims to be a Christian, so there will be people who can even say that they're Christians, will hold something against you and will not support you. And you won't know why, even if you support them. And this is a person and their thing that they're doing. I'm not going to get into too many details because I want to protect, the person's identity. But in the business that they're doing, I've been very supportive, because I'm thinking bygones are bygones, all is good. This is what I'm thinking. And then I'm hearing something else. I'm hearing another. And these 3 people did not even know that I knew this person, and they could not have known what I said because they weren't there unless the person said this. And again, this is over 30 years ago. It might be longer than that, like we were really young and stupid. And so, once I heard that, I just made the decision to give it to God and, to totally let go of the relationship, let go of the friendship. So do understand that could be a reason. So you might not even be aware, and it's going to be very time wasting for you to keep trying to sow seeds in a land that's barren. There's not going to be any harvest there. So that's reason number 2. Reason number 3 why some family won't support you and friends is because sometimes, right? And be honest if this is, ever happened to you. Sometimes you have good ideas, right? But there's no follow through. And that person may have supported you in the past, maybe more than one occasion, and they are tired of seeing their support in vain or their money going down the drain. So I had someone I knew that this person's niece constantly had different business ideas over the course of maybe 10 years and never stuck with any of them. So once they were doing multi-level marketing, another time they were doing some other sort of business, and the aunt would, invest in the business, help the person out, the niece out, only to find out that there was no follow through. And this was on more than one occasion. I believe it might have been 3 occasions. And so at this point, the family don't believe that she's serious. And so sometimes what will happen is people will pull back their resources and pull back their support based on the evidence that you're showing them. So you want to be honest and say, is this me? But the beauty is when you do get serious, even if they don't support you, when you are truly serious and you follow through and you stick with it and you are consistent, God will see the work that you're putting in, and he will send you the people to support you, even if it doesn't come from friends and family. So these are 3 reasons why you may not be getting the support from friends and family. So again, it could be haters, right? It could be jealousy, envy, but it's not always that. So that's one reason. Reason 2, they're harboring resentment that either you've tried to make amends, you've apologized in all sincerity, or you're not even aware of because they never brought it to you. Or 3, you have done different businesses in the past, you did a lot of starts and stops. So you start something, but you never finish it, you don't follow through, and people don't take you seriously. So you're going to have to change the perception by being consistent. And they may never come around, and if they don't, that's okay, because God will send you the people who you need in your season of seriousness and stick-to-itness and consistency. He will send you the people you need. So, with that being said, here's the thing to keep in mind scripturally, and why it's a waste of time to keep begging people to support you, because the reality is they don't want to, for whatever their reason is. And even though I gave you 3 possible reasons, truth be told, I didn't even have to do that, because it doesn't matter. Their reason for not supporting you does not matter. You don't want to keep fishing in an ocean that has no fish. You don't want to keep planting seeds in a plot of land where no fruit is being produced. It is a complete waste of your time. And so the time and energy and effort begging friends and family to support your ministry or your business is time and effort that you could be putting in marketing the business, developing your business financial plan, figuring out your product or your service, or if you're a content creator, creating a content schedule, creating your topics. Like, that's energy you need to flourish in your business and ministry. Time that you can put in prayer, asking God to give you guidance and direction for your ministry. And so you don't want to have your energy and effort all over the place, right? The Bible says, teach me to number my days so that I may apply my heart to wisdom. And so it is not the wisest use of your time to keep going in a space where there is no outcome for you. So that's not numbering your days. And so to number your days is to recognize my friend or family member does not want to support me. That's the bottom and top line of it, regardless of how I feel, regardless of hurt feelings, regardless of how mad, sad, and bad I feel. It doesn't change the fact that they don't support me. So what I need to do is figure out who will support me, figure out where to direct my efforts so that I don't waste any more of my time fishing in a place where the fish are not biting. So this is what Mark tells us. Mark chapter 6, verse 4. It says, a prophet is not without honor except in his own town and among his own family and in his own house. So think about what the scripture is saying, right? A prophet is not without honor except in his own town, among his relatives, and in his own home. And so this is not limited to just a prophet. This is limited to anyone with a calling on their life. And so when you have a calling, whether it is a calling for ministry, and we're all called to ministry as believers, right? Our first ministry is sharing the message of the kingdom, whether we're doing it verbally or by way of our actions, by way of how we show up for life. So a prophet is not without honor except in his own town, among his relatives, and in his own home. So when you have a ministerial calling on your life, a calling for ministry, when you have an entrepreneurial calling on your life, you are called to do business for the glory of God, right? For the glory of God. And of course, one of the benefits is going to be that you will build wealth, right? Never forget that Solomon asked God for wisdom, and God gave him both wisdom and wealth. So do understand that. So there were people, most of the people who were going to support you were going to be people that don't know you. The majority of the people who support Cassandra Mack Ministries, with the exception of my 2 aunts and my mom, are people that I don't know. And I know you through coming to church by phone. I know you through membership. but meaning that we didn't have a history of knowing each other by growing up with one another, or being related by blood. And so do know that most of the people who are going to support you are going to be people that don't know you because they met you at the level you are at today. They don't have a history with you. And so the version of you that they know is the new man. As you put on the new man, they don't know the old man that you took off. They know the new man. See, people who know both the old man and the new man are so closely connected to the old man, right, that they can't acknowledge and honor the new man, right? And the Bible tells us to take off the old man, put on the new. And even though you might have clearly taken off the old man, there are some people around you who haven't taken off their old man. So if they haven't taken off their old man, how can they even see the newer version of you? How can they fully acknowledge it, even if they see it? So a prophet is not without honor. So that means you're going to get honor, but the honor is not going to come from primarily your hometown. It's not going to come from your relatives. So your hometown represents your friends, your neighborhood, people you know. It's not going to come from your relatives, right? You might have a few, but majority is not going to come from your relatives. And it's not going to come from even people in your own house. So you may have people in your own house. Your own spouse may not believe that you can do the thing that you are being called to do. But that shouldn't stop you from moving forward, because you don't need them to believe in you. Because when God called you, if I said it once, I said it 1,000 times here. When God called you to do whatever it is that he called you to do, to write the book, to make the jewelry, to start the YouTube channel where you are sharing inspirational good news, to do the things that you were doing, it wasn't a conference call. He didn't confer with your spouse and say, should I give this calling to this person? He didn't confer with your mother or your father. So understand that. So that is key. And I know we're covering a lot of ground, but I want to leave you with some other things to keep in mind. So number one, God will send you the right people at the right time. So don't worry about who's not supporting you. Don't invest a lot of energy in that. Don't. And I tell you, don't do that, because it is going to take the inspiration and the creativity and the resourcefulness you need to build and be creative. You need your energy to build your business, to build the foundation of your ministry. You need to channel that energy into building and creating the things that God would have you do in this season. You cannot have your energy everywhere. Number two, if they are not supporting you, this is what it really means, right? It means that God does not require their alignment with your vision and your mission for you to be successful. So if they're not supporting you, again, it means that God doesn't require their alignment with you for your mission and your vision for you to be successful. And these are going to be the first people that's going to be like, I always knew you were going to be successful. I always knew. And they didn't support one thing. It means that you don't need them. That's what that means. God does not require them to align with your vision and your mission for him to accomplish his plans in your life. You may want it, right? You may desire it. Who doesn't? That's your family. Of course you desire that, right? Of course we desire friends and family to support us. But just because we desire something doesn't mean that it's a need, right? It's not a need. So God will give you what you need in every season, and it will come from the unlikeliest of places. So do understand you don't need their support. So stop begging them. You ask them once, you ask them twice, that's it. 3, show gratitude to those who do support you. Show gratitude. So make sure that you are really being thankful, for those who support what it is you're doing. If you have a YouTube channel and one person comments, be grateful for that, because one is going to turn into 10, and it's going to turn into 100, and it's going to turn into 1,000. So give thanks. Show gratitude for those who support you. Show gratitude for the customers that buy the jewelry. Show gratitude for the ones that really love what it is you're doing. So this is twofold. Number 3, show gratitude for those who support you, and establish the correct context for those who don't. So the correct context, right? Context is everything. Sometimes we have an incorrect context for a particular relationship. So just because somebody is related to you by blood, does not mean that they are your support system. So you have to establish the correct context. So you might be related to someone who's a hater. They're not going to support you. Put that in this correct context. We related by blood, but they don't want to see me win. That's the context. You don't have to say that to them, but you need to know that for yourself so that you don't keep looking for support in a place where you're not going to get it. Establish the correct context. That's the problem. We think family is everything. No, not necessarily. It may not be. It's nice when it is. It's a beautiful thing. Don't get me wrong. But if that's not your reality, you have to walk in reality. So establish the correct context for those who don't. So are you calling certain people friends who are not showing you that they are friends? Because friends who say they want to see you win actually help you win. And you do the same for them. So you can't be selfish. It's all about you. So if you are asking for support from people who you never give support to, that could be another reason, because they might say, why should I support him or her? The last couple of things I did, they don't never support, but now that they need me, they fishing around. People can sense the phoniness of that. So that's another reason why a lot of people sometimes don't get support, because they haven't really put in the work to support others, and they haven't done proper networking, because utilizing your support system starts before you even need their support. Utilizing your support system starts before you need their support. It also means you giving support so that people can remember, oh, so-and-so was always there for me. It's only right that I do such and such for them. And it's not transactional, it's reciprocal. There is a big difference. It is not transactional, but you are supposed to reap a harvest. This is biblical, in a place where you are sowing. So do understand that. So sometimes we're expecting a harvest from relationships we haven't sowed in. So keep that in mind. Number 4, focus on your mission, your vision for your business, your ministry, even at the expense of your more peripheral relationships fizzling out. So you have peripheral relationships like I do. Even in families, there are peripheral relationships, meaning we're related by blood, but we really are not that close. We only see each other during the holidays, and when we do see each other, it's, hey, cuz, how you doing? You look great. And that's really the extent of it. We may crack a joke, but we've never picked up the phone to call one another unless maybe there's a funeral or there's a dire situation. We don't really have a bond with one another, right? It's a peripheral relationship. There's no bad blood, right? Let's be clear. You're not enemies. There's no bad blood. There's no haterism going on, but it's a peripheral relationship, right? So with those relationships, right, where a person is just not interested in going deeper with you, you got to acknowledge reality. And so focus on your vision and your mission, even if the more peripheral relationships fizzle out. So what that looks like is you have that family member who invites you to their cookout, their gathering, the thing that they're doing, but you have something to do for your business and your ministry. Do not feel obligated to go if your priority is your business and your ministry, because it's a peripheral relationship and they don't feel obligated to support you. So, and let me be clear, that is not being tit for tat. It is being accurately honest to say this is what the nature of the relationship is. This is the fruit that is that has been ripened in this relationship, and I can't pretend it's something it's not. So this means that when grandma or grandpa has to get together and I see that aunt, that uncle, that cousin, it's all love. There really is no bad blood. And you may talk about music. You may talk about whatever you talk about as a family, but you're not talking about your goals, your dreams, your business. You don't expect their support. You don't even ask for their support. And you're very clear that that's the nature of the relationship. It's a 5-minute kiss on the cheek. Oh, you look so nice. Whatever y'all say to one another, pass the potato salad. And that's the extent of the relationship, because you happen to be related by blood and you're in the same vicinity. But the relationship within itself is not built on a foundation of love, care, consideration. Even though they say the words, I love you, right? Because that's what we say to family. Oh, love you, love you, love you, love you, love you. But if you were lined up in a hospital bed, do you see the fruit of love? So focus on your vision and your mission. Don't let anyone guilt you, even if they call you names. Chalk it up to the game. Charge it to the game. Focus on your vision and your mission, even at the expense of those relationships either fizzling out completely or just remaining peripheral relationships. That's fine. That's fine. There are some relationships within family that can be peripheral relationships. That means, again, family gatherings, if you choose to go, if you have kids and you want to make sure your kids know their cousins, and you have a good time, you share a moment in time together and you respect it for what it is. We had a good time on 4th of July. We had a good time Christmas Day. We had a good time at such and such's birthday party, and it was nice to see Aunt so-and-so, Uncle so-and-so, put a smile on my face, lifted my mood. My kids had a good time doing potato sack races and meeting their cousins, and now we back to our life. It's a moment in time. You don't make it something more than what it is. And if it grows into something more, that's beautiful. So I'm not saying close the door. Let me be very clear. What I'm saying is keep your expectations rooted in the fruit that is being shown to you. So this is how you stop begging friends and family to support your business or ministry when it's apparent that they don't want to, without you becoming hard-hearted and resentful, because you are so busy focusing on your goals, your dreams, your ministry, your business. You don't have time to be harboring hate about who's not supporting you. You are quickly shaking the dust off your feet so that you can connect with those who want to support you. Be very clear. And you don't have to be phony. So let's say that you have a family member who never supports you, never likes anything you do, but the minute they start a business, now you their best cousin. And they're like, hey, cuz, I was thinking about you today and just thinking about how much I miss you. And you're like, see, there we go again. Why can't you just be straight up? Stop it. You don't miss me and you wasn't thinking about me. You was thinking about my followers and how I could help you with your business. Why not just say that and be straight up? So let's say that that's the situation. And for whatever reason, you just don't have the time to do what they're asking you to do, or you simply don't want to, right? So there is nothing wrong with being honest about that and saying, you know, I'm gonna be honest with you here. I feel that the only time I hear from you and you come around is when you need me for something, but you never support what I do. I asked you, could you share a flyer, and that cost you nothing. I asked you, could you, and then you can insert, and that cost you nothing. But yet and still, you have no qualms about coming, and it feels kind of fake to me. That's not being nasty, but we've been conditioned to dance around issues. If something is fake, it is fake. It feels kind of fake. You're not saying I hate you and you're the worst person in the world and you low it in the roach. No, you're honestly assessing it. It feels fake to me. It doesn't feel genuine. I have to say this, cuz. And then hear them out. Are they accountable? You know, you are right. And I'm going to get better. You know what? Let me share your stuff now. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go buy your book, and they screenshot it. That's an open door. That's an open door to start building a relationship. But if the person is like, why you got to be that way? All right, forget you then. Don't be nasty. You spoke truth, and you were shown the truth, right? The Holy Spirit guides you into all truth. So you saw the truth of where they were at with you. Honor it. Let them be. And you go on about your business. So I hope this really helped to not hold resentment in your heart when you find that friends and family won't support you, because it's real easy to get in a toxic space. And when you are called by God and anointed by God to go forward in business and ministry, you don't have the luxury of letting toxic thoughts and emotions eat away at your peace, because you need your mind and you need clarity of thought for your creative endeavors, your entrepreneurial endeavors, and your innovation and your imagination. You need these things. You need clarity of mind for that. So let that stuff go so that you can be the best entrepreneur that you can be. You can be awesome in the ministry that God has put in your belly. So with that being said, I want to remind everyone that if you are not yet a member of the Wednesday Wellness Club, I can't say it enough, you are missing out. The Wednesday Wellness Club meets the first and third Wednesday of every month. We focus on mental self-care, even topics like this. But we do so through a biblical lens, and you have an opportunity to ask questions because we're live on a conference call. So it's not just me talking, but you can hear one another. So I would encourage you to do that. To do so, click on the link in the video description box, or you'll see a join button. Be sure to join at the second tier if you want to access the Wednesday Wellness Club. If you have an entrepreneurial calling on your life, if you are called to lead, then join at the third level, because that is where we have our Fill Your Cup meetup, which is a meetup on Zoom. So we see each other on Zoom, specifically for leaders and entrepreneurs, and that happens once a month on Zoom. So to get access to those meetings, and that's like group coaching, group networking, and is valued at a whole lot more than the economic prices that we have here on membership. So I would encourage you to make that investment if you are a leader and an entrepreneur. And last but not least, I want to remind you that the Rise Above the Haters journaling classes start in June. The schedule is posted on the community tab of the YouTube channel, as well as on Facebook, my Facebook group. So check the schedule. If you are a member at the second tier or higher, you will have access to the journaling club, where we will be journaling as a community from my new book, Rise Above the Haters. That's the personal journal to keep on shining despite the envy and the hate. And you'll be able to have access to those classes. So with that being said, have an amazing day. For every content creator under the sound of my voice, every entrepreneur, every person who knows that you are called to do some awesome things and you don't have friends and family to support you, if you don't know nothing else, understand that your gifts make room for you, and they will put you in the presence of great people. People who will speak greatly of you, people who will be great ambassadors for your product, people who will greatly align with what it is you're doing and bring other people. Not only that, whatever door God opens, no man can close. And sometimes you're looking at doors that people open, but remember, it's God that opens the right doors at the right time, in the right way, under the right condition, for his righteous purpose for your life, your business, and your ministry. So you hold your head up, don't be discouraged, and know that there are people who will support you. You just keep doing what you got to do. God bless.